All right. Thank you so much for being here. I am here with Rick Gabrielly, who is one of the people that bought my book, Freedom, The 7 Steps to Thrive in Life and Business. So we both have our books. And I'm so honored to have you here, Rick, and for supporting buying the book, taking the time to read it. And so today, I want to really learn from you. What are some lessons that you took away from the book? Some, for the readers, potential readers. We have readers out there that haven't bought the book yet. And I'd like to, inspire them on why, because there is a messaging to this. And what I'd like to do first, before you introduce yourself, is why did I start this book? How did I even start this book? And why freedom? Because freedom is such an important value of mine. And everything that's going on in the world today, it's interesting how people are fighting for freedom.
Yes.
Okay, freedom in any aspect of our life. And so this is really, I believe, relevant today. And, for me, this had to do with a career change. I started this book over 3 years ago and got laid off from corporate America. And for the first time, found myself unsure with what I wanted to do. At the time, I was a single mom with 2 kids. And I got laid off and really was scared and angry at the same time, because I had just been promoted to area trainer. And I thought things were going well. I was with this Fortune 500 company for about 9 years. And I saw myself continuing to be with this company. But somehow things don't happen the way we want. So the words that I used that day was, a door just shut today, but I know another door is going to open, and I just don't know what that door is going to be.
Yeah.
And so my manager at the time said, that's a really good attitude to have. I'm letting you go today. And I said, this was my boss. He let me go. And I said, I'm disappointed. They eliminated the whole training department at this company. This is what they did. And so I started the journey of trying to figure out what is it that I want to do. So in my journey, I learned that I want to be flexible. I want to be able to have the freedom to do what I want, loving what I do every day, and being surrounded with the right people.
Yeah, that's key.
It is key. And in the corporate world, and, when you share a little bit about yourself, in the corporate world, what I have found is that you don't have a lot of freedom. You are told what to do. You have to play, I'll say it, the game, the corporate game. And you can't be authentic with yourself. And so I really discovered that I wanted to share the message to other people that you can have freedom. And so I started my journey, and I learned of a tool on finding your passion called the passion test. But what I learned with this is that I learned that over 85% of working individuals are not happy with what they're doing. They're actually disengaged. And they're actually, while working, supposedly, they're surfing the internet. How can I find my dream job? How do I find my perfect career? And so I learned that in my research, and I said, I need to share the message that you can't make money loving what you do, that you can have a dream life. Yeah. So I started this book when it was been about 4 years ago when I started writing it. And I was on a cruise ship. This is where I was inspired. On a cruise ship, I was surrounded with other speakers. I want to be a professional speaker, always have been. And I surrounded myself with these speakers who already had a book. And I said, well, I don't have a book. I don't even know how to write a book. I don't even know what to do. So they said, well, if you want to speak on this cruise ship next year, you need to write a book. I said, wow. Okay. I said, well, I really want to speak. So I'm going to write a book. And we did this exercise, and the word freedom popped in my head. And I created an acronym around freedom that I'll go through here. But in the 7 steps, we'll share those. Is I believe that if you follow these steps or apply them, which is what I've done, you can achieve freedom in your life in business? If you're an entrepreneur, are you loving what you do? Are you in the right business? Because even as an entrepreneur, you may not be free.
True.
You might be working more hours. People tend to think that, okay, if I leave my corporate job, I will work less because I have the freedom. No, sometimes no,
No way.
right? I found that out
No
myself
way.
as an entrepreneur. In 2018, I did finally escaped the corporate world again, because what happened was first I got laid off, but the second time I quit. And I love being an entrepreneur, but you are working more hours. But the difference is, for me, I love every day of it because I'm doing what I want to do, which is key.
That's good.
So Rick, thanks again for being here. I love the audience to learn about you, what you do, and how did this book inspire you, or what did you take away? And of course, sharing your own books, because you have several books, and definitely feel free to share them here in this session that we're having, or this conversation.
Well, thank you, Tina, first for having me. And I wanted to just mention, if you're watching or listening, you are probably employing one of the 86% of the people who does not like their job. So you better take a look at your staff, if you have staff, after watching this interview. So it's a pleasure to be with you. I want to just say that I was super inspired as soon as I met you and I learned your story. And so you inspire me every day to continue to do what I do. So thank you for, what you do gives me permission to continue. So I love what you're doing, and, just know that you're inspiring me and many others every
Thank you
day.
so
So
much. Thank you, Rick.
keep that up.
Okay.
And when I heard you were writing a book, I wanted to know about it immediately, and I wanted to buy it right away. And then when I got it, I saw the acronym F.R.E.E.D.O.M, and I did write down what it stands for because I want to always remember.
Mhm.
It's faith, release, evaluate, energy, determination, optimism, and mindset.
Mhm.
And personally, what I got out of it, because I read it cover to cover the first day, and I was interested not only because you told me that story that you had to write a book to be able to speak on the cruise, which is as good a reason as any, but I also was interested because I know how many people want to write books, and I have a fondness for people who get it done. So I was particularly impressed and excited for you because you actually did it, because we know how many people say they're going to do it and then they never do. So you stuck with it, and congratulations for you to do that.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
so in my particular case, just a little bit about me. So I'm a visionary marketer. I have in my career been on Wall Street. I run a medical practice now for 27 years. I've revolutionized the dental industry and the way it's delivered with a spa and wellness center. Became a wellness entrepreneur. Worked with a company out of Germany called Bemer. And I also, because I had this wellness center and spa, I was able to create a laboratory to coach couples through it. So I did marriage coaching, which a couple of books that I wrote came out of that. So I wrote a dental book called Dental Practice Bliss for the trade, for dentists. I wrote 2 marriage books, which you could find online on Amazon. And I also wrote in this past August with my beautiful wife, Carol, The Currency of Connection. And that is a book on how to create energy, value, and meaning in your life and the lives of others. So the reason we're together today is because of our networking association with Master Networks. And so I will basically say that is the piece that I'll concentrate on because it's given me so much purpose. So for me, connection is everything. And there were 2 of the letters in particular in F.R.E.E.D.O.M, the second E, energy, and the M, mindset, that I really was glued to because that's my vibe. And although I got terrific stuff out of all of them, in particular, the energy piece to me, because you say energy is everything and everything is energy. And so I was particularly touched by that section and how, we create based on the energy we put out there. I know you believe a lot in the law of attraction, and you're an example of it yourself. And so I was particularly, touched by that section. And then, of course, the mindset piece. Everything is our attitude and how we think. So, if you're listening or watching today, maybe one of these letters might appeal to you. So I think you got to get the book and you got to read it, because you got to find out what Tina says about all the other ones. But in particular, because I'm so fond of energy, and I believe that what we put out is what we get back. I'm a cheerleader. I want to be able to be happy for other people. I want to leave people better than I found them. Many times people have told me that I believe more in them than they believe in themselves at that moment. And I just have a way of seeing people as they can be. So I think that if I had to leave you with something regarding that second E, the energy, I would say, see people as they can be, put that energy out there. I was having a conversation this morning about the animals in my neighborhood, all the wild animals. When we first moved to our neighborhood here, almost 20 years ago, the neighbors said, "Oh, the deer are terrible. They will eat all your flowers and all your bushes. And so you have to make sure you keep the deer out of your yard." I grew up loving deer because I had a summer home in the mountains, and I love deer. So when we moved in, I basically was saying to the deer energetically, "Come on my property," because I love the deer. When I saw them, I would make comments about how beautiful they were. And my neighbors would say, "Oh, don't encourage them. We don't want those deer around here." So here we are almost 20 years later. The deer never eat my flowers or bushes. They live in my backyard, and
Wow.
they eat all my neighbors' flowers and bushes all the time. So my neighbors are still complaining about the deer, and the deer basically live in my yard and feed in everyone else's yards. And there's 11 houses on this street. So if that's not an example of energy
Oh my God.
dictating, so even with people, people know when you believe in them and when you're encouraged by them and that you're cheering them on, and they actually do better because you're supporting them. So I'm 100% with you on the energy piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You make a good point. The words that we say also, because those neighbors keep saying,
yeah,
the deer are going to eat your
there's a
food, the
pest.
deer is going to eat your plants and all that. And so they keep saying it. And guess what? We're
They do.
manifesting it by the words that we are saying. So words are so powerful. Okay. And then you wonder why the results that you get are because of the thoughts that you have, the actions you take, but the words are so powerful. So I always say to people, be careful with the words that you say. You might get what you say.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so very good. Thank you so much. That's really good. I always believe that, because when I was going through writing the book, I said, okay, how can I make this word freedom and create a powerful message? How can I, what is the acronym that I could use? And so with the E's and all the letters, I could have come up with other words.
Yeah.
But the energy is what I believed was so more powerful, because everything is energy. Money is energy.
Yep.
Physical. And when I talk about physical, mental, money, it's all related to the energy that we put out there, the people that we align ourselves with. When you meet someone, have you had that sense like,
Oh, you
I
get
don't
it.
know.
I get like the shakes sometimes if it's a negative alignment.
Yes.
I actually, I could feel like something that's like so deeply physical that it moves my gut and my fingers. So I have to try to control that and kind of retreat a bit.
Okay.
And so it's gotten stronger as I get older,
Okay.
where, like it's like almost like there's a sign there.
Mm.
Hey, stay away from this person or this situation. And so I get a message, and then so energy is present,
Yes,
and we are antennas.
we are.
So if we can, tune into that, you got to be quiet, you got to be clear, but, and that goes to the mindset again. So the M in freedom, for me, the mindset of, Carol always says, positive daily input. That's my wife, Carol. So positive daily input.
Yep.
And again, wherever you get it from, whether it's source, whether it's your spiritual practice or prayer or reading self-development, listening to something, calming down, grounding yourself in some way.
Yes.
Find out the thing that can help you so that you can keep that mindset. And I highlighted something here that you wrote. A growth mindset is that we are each born with the ability to develop our talents and abilities if you have to stretch yourself to learn something new, etc. So
Yes.
that growth mindset, and it's available to everybody. It doesn't matter where you are. You mentioned earlier, you heard my story today. So you could be in the worst possible place. You remember, you had a situation where the world ends,
Exactly.
and then you have to get back up from that. The good news is, no matter what happens to you, a growth mindset can build a muscle of getting back up. You have a choice where I'm either going to give up or I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to get up off the canvas and I'm going to give it another shot. And, it's not the result necessarily as much as it is just getting back up. That is
Bouncing
the
back.
victory.
Yes, that is the struggle that I think a lot of people, when I talk about mindset, there's the two types. I talk about growth and fixed.
Yeah.
That sometimes we just stay so stuck in that fixed mindset that we don't look for a solution. We just are so set in our ways, our beliefs that we have from childhood that carry us into adulthood, keep us in that mindset that we just don't see another way, or we don't get out of our own way.
I have a good tip.
Yes, take it away.
So for anybody who is listening or watching and feels like they get stuck in that fixed mindset and there is no other way, I pretty much am sure that they also don't believe other people when they tell them positive things. So what's ironic is fixed mindset people and negative people don't believe others, but they believe themselves when they're in that stuck place and that fixed mindset and that negative mindset. So what I'm asking you to do is don't believe yourself when you're in that mindset. So use the same habit that you're using to stay stuck against your own fixed mindset, and you will change it. So if you're not going to believe me, then don't believe yourself when you think you have no way out.
I've never thought of it that way, because we will not believe others because we're just so like, oh no. But then we just don't believe in ourselves.
Or we'll believe the programming that says, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Good enough.
Right.
So
I'm not good enough.
Ironically, you won't believe the person who's telling you there's a better way, but you will believe the you that says you can't do it.
I know. And I think a lot of it that comes, at least my experiences, comes from your upbringing.
Yeah.
That, our the people that we hang out with, our parents, how they're raising us. We're in that environment, and our environment is such huge influence. I did a paper a long time ago when I was in college about what influences our behaviors. And your childhood is huge in who you become. However, you can't continue to stay in there and not want to improve, bounce
Well,
back.
you have a phone, right? So every so often you see a message, system will be upgraded tonight when you plug it in.
Yep.
The computer says we have a new software, we're going to upgrade it. The app says we have a new version. So we are supercomputers. You were programmed when you were little. And so now it's time to upgrade the software.
That is true. That is so good. Upgrade our software. So tell me, okay, so energy, the mindset. So what would you say, would you want the readers to, what are some tips that you'd like the readers to know about, or something that, a takeaway of yours that you want to share to the readers that will go ahead and buy this book?
I would say to people who are not readers. So if you're like someone who's like, oh, I don't really read a lot, or I fall asleep when I read, it's very entertaining. It's very fast paced.
It is.
So you can really, get all the goodies right out of this book in one day. So that's a good thing, because you can just get right in there, get the goodies, and then go and take action. You also give notes at the end of each section, so you could write down your own notes. I actually wrote a couple that I wanted to share with you.
Please do. Yes.
In this section. So in the, let's see, where am I?
because that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to create this book, that it wasn't just a book to put on a shelf, that there was actual action
Yeah.
steps that they could walk away
Very
with and
important.
implement.
So in the energy section, you asked what drains your energy, and I said people without faith and belief.
That's right. That's right.
So if you're listening to this and you are around people who are negative, this acronym can help you break through that. You asked, how is your mental state? I said, high. You asked, do you believe money is also a form of energy? I said, totally. And I wrote manifestation. So if you are new to self-development, this is a terrific place to start.
Yep.
And if you're a veteran, it's a tool to be able to continue to build your toolbox using Tina's acronym of freedom. And I find it to be very easy to remember. And, I think that we want things that are bite-sized so that we can use it as a tool today. We don't have to, go get an MBA on it. You can just kind of, give somebody the tidbit so that they can get in and out.
Yes, and I purposely wanted to have it a short, quick
Am I back?
read. Yep,
Am
you're
I back?
back. I know, technology, don't you love it? Sometimes our screens freeze. I wanted to make this short enough that people, because you're right, some people don't want to read and they don't like to read. And, this comes in a Kindle version as well. I am looking into creating an audio version of it. Because I do want to have it as an audio. So I am looking into that. And if you have any resources, Rick, on how I can turn this in audio, let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know, because I would love to hear it. But I really appreciate your time, because what I want to do is I want to make these quick and to the point. And because you know how people's attention,
Yes.
they don't want to be on a long time. And I want to make this in and out. And I'm going to be interviewing other people. So for those of you that are watching this or listening, as the author of this book, I will be interviewing other buyers of my book. And I am so appreciative, because I really believe that this message needs to be heard.
Yes.
Not because it's my book, it's that too many of us are stuck in that mindset of, everything is negative, especially when you watch, the news is not a place to watch, but you got to stay away from the negativity, the toxicity that exists. Yes, you want to be, educated, you want to keep up to date. However, surround yourself with the right people. Master Networks is a great organization that we are surrounded by positive people. So for those of you listening to this, you might want to check out Master Networks as well. There's many chapters that can help you really grow your business as an entrepreneur, but grow you as a person, because there's so many resources available to all of us in this networking. So this is Tina Kadish of Life is Ideal. You can go to lifeisideal.com. And also you can buy the book from my website, or you can go on Amazon as well and buy the book there. And if you know of anyone, share the message about freedom. I just want to make sure that we all get a copy of this book. And because it is so important that we all take away this message. So thank you, Rick, so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.